All right, welcome back. I guess we're doing this in parts because my camera stopped recording. So now we're doing the left foot here. This yoga mat is about 1.5 feet away from the wall to give me space. If it's too close, you won't be able to get a stretch, right? So to ball the foot on the mat, heels on the floor, step the right foot forward, and breathe here. Intensify by straightening the back leg even more, maybe engaging the glute here gently, or shifting your hips and your knees, your front knee can shift forward. If you want a bit more stretch, I'm bringing my arms all the way up to the wall and kind of doing a child's pose upper body child's pose against the wall. And let's shift the stretch when you're ready to the lateral side. So I'm bringing my right foot across my body until it gets to, it's past, so far left that it's past my left foot. And I continue with the stretch. Man, don't lift the heel on the back leg. Otherwise you will lose this external stretch. And then bring your hips and your front knee towards the wall. Breathing deeply. And I'm starting to feel like the stretch is just way out. So release. Let's go back to the mat. All right. Let's hop into some yoga poses. So come to plank pose. My fingers are as wide as I can get them. Fingers wide, spread them out. Plant them down. Keeping the weight more in the index and thumb. Step back into plank. Breathe, having our core support us and reawakening it after all the twisting and dancing and stomping. It's beautiful. Press your hips back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale. Walk to the top of your mat. And just hang here, ragdoll. You can interlace your hands inside of the elbows. Now we're getting into the hamstrings and the quads. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way to standing. Reach your arms to the sky. And exhale, come all the way to forward fold. I'll always be adjusting my camera angles. This is all a test. See how recording at home works out. All the way in the forward fold. Step back to a high plank. If you want, you can do a tricep push-up or you can go right into downward facing dog. So inhale, upward facing dog. Stay here for a second. Feel your hips open, engage your glutes. Plant the tops of your feet onto the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step through to crescent lunge. So my front knee is planted, my right knee is bent, my left heel, I'm trying to stack my left heel over my left toes. All right, and then reach your arms up to the sky. You can see how tight my quads are. Otherwise, I'd be trying to go for a little bit straighter in the back leg. That's okay. That's why we're doing these stretches. Inhale, hands to heart center. Exhale, come forward and twist. Revolve crescent lunge. So front knee is still bent, back leg is strong and engaged. My left glute is holding me steady. And exhale, plant your hands to the mat, toe heel your right foot out to runner's lunge. And surf it out, going into a bit of a hamstring stretch, not all the way yet, and then deep into runner's lunge. 2, 3, 4. I'm just doing as many until as I want to. Drop the back knee, reach your right hand back to grab your left foot. We do this often in class, some of their classes. All right, we're going to do this a little more actively. Let me turn so you can see my profile better. All right, I'm going to release the foot, press the toes in, lift the knee, drop the knee, kick, and at the top of my kick, I'm holding on to my foot. All right, now straighten out the leg all the way, and bend the knee, kick. Let's do that a couple more times. Straighten the back leg, kick your heel towards your butt. I'm using this hand to pull, lift, straighten, and pull. All right. Plant your hands on the mat. Step the right foot back into plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step 2, low lunge. Plant your feet. Left knee is very bent. Right foot is behind you. Your hips are parallel to the short edge of your mat. Lift your right heel over your right toes and reach for the sky. Sink a little deeper when you're ready. So we want to think more about the hips being square. So if you're open here, turn so that your toes and your hips are pointing in the same direction. And then when your quad here starts to open up, you can start straightening that back leg a little bit more, but not without rotating, not at the expense of rotating your hips. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lean forward, and then exhale, twist over your left knee. Keeping the same shape in the legs. So front knee is bent, right glute is engaged to keep that back leg nice and straight and supportive. And breathe here, exhale. Plant your hands, toe heel your left foot out to runner's lunge. I prefer in runner's lunge not to go onto the edge of my left foot. I feel like personally that it grinds a little bit into my hip joint versus an active stretch. So surf it out here. Going into a little bit of a hamstring stretch, but not all the way, unless you're feeling like it. And then deep into runner's lunge, keeping the whole foot on the floor. At least that's how I do it. And surf it out until you feel like things are loosening up in your left hip joint. 3, 2, last one for me. Coming to a knee on your right side. Use your left hand to reach back for your right foot. If this is not accessible today, grab some fabric, grab your pants, grab something. You can also try and put a yoga band or some kind of band around your foot. I find that very hard to coordinate. Notice if one quad, one side feels stiffer than the other, tighter. All right, we're going into the dynamic stretching. So I'm dropping the foot, straightening the leg, kicking my heel to my butt, and then holding on with my hand. What we're doing here is from a full range of motion. That's why I'm straightening the leg. I'm using my own muscles to bring the heel to my butt before I give it stretching and assist from my left hand. And stretch. Knee down, kick. Let's do a couple more of these. Stretch. Lengthen, knee bends, kick. And what you might notice is that each time you're able to, on your own power, with your own hamstring strength, bring your knee to your butt. Right. And release. Both hands to the mat. Step the left foot back to high plank. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. And come to your knees. All right, we thought we were done with the foam roller, but not quite. We're going to use it for our inner thigh muscles. And then I'm also going to have us do a little bit of pelvic floor work with the foam roller. So I'm sitting with the foam roller between my legs, and we're doing a frog pose. So if you don't have a foam roller at home, do frog pose without it. So my hips, let's turn sideways. My hips are stacked over my knees, and then I'm using the foam roller to access the inner thigh of just one leg, my right leg. Okay, so this is prone frog, but with a foam roller on the inner thigh. For more intensity, since it's my right leg is on the foam roller, my left leg is now straight. So stay where you're at. So my back leg is actually straight on the end. My left knee is on the floor. Yep. There's so many connective tissue, inner thigh muscles too. So you can roll from the groin all the way to the knee, but don't put it right on the knee. You don't need to put more sideways force on the knee. If you find a good spot, straighten your leg and bend your leg. Straighten and bend. All right. All right, and then let's switch to the other side. Remember, pause the video if you want to spend more time exploring. So I'm starting with the roller between and under my left leg. I'm going to straighten my right leg. So you can either just do frog, prone frog with a foam roller, but I do like to straighten the other leg. So I'm starting first close to the groin. Now that I have found the position, And from here, just gentle rolls. You don't want to be quick rolling like this. I think personally that is going to excite your muscles and make it kind of hard for them to relax. So I do a slow roll. Gently kind of putting more pressure so you can press your inner thigh onto the roller. All right, and as I find a good spot, straightening and bending the knee. And then find another spot. We tend to be a little more tender around the closer to the inside of the knee versus the, I don't know, it all just depends. Recent injuries, your posture, other habits. But yeah, explore on yourself where your inner thigh muscles feel the most tender. All right, and then we take the foam roller away and let's go into prone frog. So this is child's pose. There, see how my knees are really bent? This is prone frog. My knees are more at 90 degrees and my hips are stacked more over my knees. Does that make sense? And my feet are out wide. So you can see my toes are turned to the outsides, turned out. Now, without turning this into child's pose, pressing and trying to open the inner thigh muscles by pressing my knees out and into the floor. This is also a good position to practice some of the pelvic floor work we did last week. Inhale, tighten the pelvic floor. Exhale, relax the pelvic floor. Inhale, breathe in with your diaphragm. Exhale, relax the diaphragm in the belly. All right. Come on up. Let's do another wall item. We'll stop with this one. Just a deep forward fold. If you aren't feeling this is in your practice, do a hamstring stretch. So you can have one leg back, one leg forward, and stretching out one hamstring at a time. In fact, let's just do it. This will get our bodies ready. Always like to have a yoga block or two because I'm not trying to round my back, although that is one way to kind of stretch out the hamstrings. I'm trying to isolate this to my pelvis and my legs. So my upper body is fairly straight and not rounded like this. So I'm bending at the hip, not bending at my back. I can't even do it. Press your weight forward into the ball of the front foot. You might feel a different stretch and then check, reach back and check your sacrum. Are you twisting like this or is your back flat? We want the sacrum to be kind of flat like a tabletop so that we can focus on the stretch here in the hammies. And we're going to stay here until this hamstring feels like it's no longer mad at me. Breathing in. I'm going to be pretty mad if this doesn't record. All that energy rolling off our backs. Relax your head down. I'm not locking out this knee. There's still a little soft bend in that front knee. Locking it out would be like this, pretty intense and a little too hard on the joints. Step your feet together, roll on up, and step the other foot back. Try to repeat the same distance. Remember, it's not a back stretch, it's a hamstring stretch. So I'm bending, if you watch me here, instead of bending at the stomach, I'm bending at the hips. Press the ball of the front foot into the ground. Also try to press your heel. Make sure you're not stretching like this. See how the heel is up? Bring the heel down. The whole foot contacts the mat. And then check, reach back. Check that your sacrum is flat, your back is flat. I mean, if you have some tightness and it's still rolled up like this, better to do this than better than nothing, right? I think when we did the splits practice in February, really opened up my hamstrings. And then 9 more weeks of yoga teacher training opened them even further. And then it only took me 1 month to regress. But they say once your body has achieved a certain level of flexibility, it comes back to you quicker. So there's hope, right? 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward. All right. Step your feet together, roll them up to a standing position. Okay. And let's do the last. So starting here, I'm working my way down the wall until table box. Until the upper back contacts the wall. You can press the back of your head and the back of your shoulders into the wall. If this is pretty intense, one modification you can do is widening the legs. We'll have to figure out how to get out of this. Forward fold. Breathe. Exhale, relax everything. Soft bend in the knees, so don't let them out. And then slowly step away from the wall. Very slowly come up to standing. You might feel a head rush here. All right. So some other options you can try on your own. Some pigeon pose. I'm probably going to keep going with that. But I hope you enjoyed this little freebie class, and come back and watch the recordings when you get a chance. Thanks. Have a good day.